okay? It is a good day today, and I always say there are a lot of people that are away for the holiday, but we welcome each and every one of you here. There are a lot of people here for the first time, so welcome to our community. I always say that when you leave here, however you're feeling, you will feel a lot better, right, than when you came in. And most of you feel good when you come in anyway, so you're really going to be incredible when you leave here today. So we're going to be continuing with our theme this month, which is spiritual tools. That is what we are working with. And I know we had a wonderful lesson last week from Fannie Munlin. I'm sure that that went well and our class went well. So thank you, Fannie. I was away and it was wonderful. We had a watermill community out on Long Island, and I did a workshop and it went very well, and it was really nice to be there. So it was a good thing. But I'm very happy to be home with all of you. I really am. So today, my talk is going to be about the power of thought as a spiritual tool. And so as we get started, we're going to have our spiritual mind treatment followed by our reading. And of course, we'll have some wonderful music from Yoichi. So right now, let's get started with Barbara Munlin, our licensed practitioner. She's going to do our treatment. Barbara?
Thank you, Reverend Loretta. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
So let's all get in a relaxed state of mind and open our minds to new thoughts, new ideas, new possibilities. So this treatment's for every member of this center and myself, Reverend Loretta, practitioners, members, guests, everyone included. There is one mind, one power, and one presence, one action and one activity in the universe. And it is consciousness. It is functioning and expressing in, through, and around us as our consciousness, with new ideas, new thoughts, new desires, and new goals, coming forth to the consciousness of God in the midst of us. In the area of health, we are blessed with perfect health. For created by Spirit in its own image and likeness, we are healthy because we are health. We are the gift, we are the thought, we are the action and the activity of Spirit, forever manifesting and demonstrating our true nature and true qualities as health and wholeness, perfect bodies, every cell, every gland, muscle, tissue, function, action, and reaction within and upon our body is the intelligence, the wisdom, the beauty, the harmony, the joy of God in expression, manifesting as our beautiful, perfect bodies. In the area of income, wealth, prosperity, we are prosperous because we have a generous, gracious Mother, Father, God, ever giving to us its substance, and we are open and receptive to it. Any thought of lack, limitation in the consciousness, the thought of anyone, in the experience of anyone here, these thoughts are neutralized and dissolved with this new idea of prosperity, new idea of blessed, of wealth, new ideas of infinite possibilities happening that generate income greater than we've ever experienced to this point in time. In the area of relationships, we have wonderful relationships because we relate to Spirit. And each and every person in our lives is a spiritual being in and of the Spirit, and Spirit responds and relates to Spirit in a pure and perfect, open way with authenticity. Any expression, any feeling of lack of friends, of needing friends, of poor relationships, or relationships gone awry, are neutralized and dissolved in the power of this new thought, this new idea, and this new action of Spirit. For in Spirit there is only perfect communication, perfect relationships, perfect action, and perfect activity, and we are in experience and expressing this perfect action and activity of Spirit because we are connected with God. One with mind, one with Spirit, one with the action and activity of Spirit. Every thought, every action, and every activity in our lives are the reflection of God flowing through us by means of us, expressing itself through us as who and what we are. In the area of health, we are healthy beings, wealthy beings, generous beings, blessed with the gifts of Spirit. And so we accept this newness of Spirit. We accept new ideas. We let these ideas express through us generously. We are joyous, We are happy, for we are the action, the activity of God, going forth, manifesting all the good that there is, and if so it is.
And so it is.
So it is.
Thank you, Barbara. That was beautiful. Thank you. And that is the foundation of our work this morning. Thank you so much for that. And now please help me welcome Barbara Blake, our licensed practitioner. She's going to do our reading. Barbara?
Good morning and happy Easter. So I wanted to start off with a quote that I found on Instagram. Rather than being your thoughts and emotions, be the awareness behind them. Eckhart Tolle. And the reading today is from Raymond Charles Barker, The Power of Decision, in the chapter, The Intelligence Factor, Nourishment for the Mind. New ideas are essential for the mind as food and water are for the physical body. You cannot progress on the basis of the ideas that are now directing your thinking, feeling, nature. You can stand where you are amidst the demonstrations of your past causation and watch the cracks appear in the mortar of your accumulations. You can run hither and fro to patch up the present to hold it as it is, but life will always win out in the long run. Only new ideas arising in consciousness from the inner fountain of infinite mind will make certain your pathway in progressive revelation. Your new ideas, new motivations, and new horizons of accomplishment. I need them as much as you do. Life has already given them to us through the unfinished business of the infinite mind. They await our attention. They are seeking us as open doors through which they can appear in material form. They need us as much as we need them. And so it is.
Thank you for that. I love that. I love the quote by Eckhart Tolle. That's really incredible. Thank you. Okay, now we'll have our announcements. So the class that I'm teaching, called The 5 Gifts of an Abundant Life, will resume the first Sunday in May. As you know, next weekend we are celebrating the man they call the medicine voice. He is coming back here. His name is Michel Pascal. So please, if you really are in town, please plan on being here. It's going to be amazing. The last time he was here, everyone said it was someone told me it was one of the most transformative experiences of her life. I mean, the man is amazing. You can go online and you can Google him. He does an Om meditation. His name is Michel Pascal. He's French. He lives in California. And he brings blessings with him wherever he goes. So he's going to bless us next week. I believe that there is also something in your program with regard to that. So tell your friends about it, and please plan on being here. It's going to be a wonderful event. We look forward to it. Okay, the class will continue, as I said, the 5 Gifts of an Abundant Life, the first week of May. And now it's time for all of us to wish each other a happy Sunday. So happy Sunday, everyone. Happy Sunday. 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 Need a little swig of something. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday, everyone. I love this part of our celebration. It just really kind of, I see the smiles on your faces now, whereas some of you came in and you were kind of like, but now, you know, we're lifting up the energy. We're moving the energy up, which is good. So now it's time, speaking of energy, it's time for our wonderful Yoichi. So Yoichi's going to play songs for us today, so please help me welcome Yoichi.
Too much information now. Good morning. Okay, so I'd like to make one announcement. I'm next Sunday actually, I'm playing again the place called Bonafide on 52nd Street off of 2nd Avenue. I'm going to start probably around 5 o'clock, so I think at 5:30ish, but probably 5 o'clock to be safe. And also, I'm performing at the Cherry Blossom Festival in Brooklyn Botanic Garden. I believe too late. I don't think you're gonna see a lot of cherry blossom by now, but anyway, yeah. And so that's on Friday. Am I right? No, that's on Saturday, 27th, and I'm gonna be playing sometime around 4 o'clock. I'm gonna be bringing my own band, playing some of my originals and some arrangements of Japanese pop stuff. So, but it's the only thing is they probably charge you more than usual for this event, this particular time. So just to be aware of it. I'm not sure how much, and then a lot of people making lines. So just be aware of it, and then it'll be fine. You know, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a nice sunny day. You know, it's nice to just to hang around inside of the Botanic Garden, which is beautiful. So, so this morning I would like to play something that's not really jazz, but not even pop either. Something that's really nice and calm. Yeah, that's what I need anyway. So, I'm gonna play something from my old American songbook. It's called Danny Boy. Hope you enjoy. Well, that's on the Japanese music textbook, by the way. We learned that one.
That was really beautiful. What a rendition of Danny Boy. So we have Easter, Passover, and Danny Boy. I love it. It's great, great stuff. Thank you. That was really well done. Okay, so we are going to start our lesson today about the power of thought, spiritual tools, the tools that we use in order to help ourselves and to help other people. So, Dr. Grayson, I used a lot of his material from his book called Collected Essays. And I learned a lot. I'm always learning. Whenever I read something, I learn more and more from it. But I think that something that he wrote I want to share with you. He said, "Our mind expresses the mind of God. This is over each one of us. It is our creative intelligence. It is called our creative intelligence for a reason, because when we go by human intelligence, while it is very vast and very informative, it is very different from the divine creative intelligence that is innate within us." And as Barbara said this morning from the quote from Aldous Huxley, was that who it was? Eckhart Tolle, wrong person, sorry. So it was Eckhart Tolle who said something. Would you mind, do you have that? I'd love you to repeat that, Barbara. That was really beautiful. I really like that. He's talking about the mind, the one power, and the one presence.
Rather than being your thoughts and emotions, be the awareness behind them.
Yeah, thank you. So rather than being your thoughts and your emotions, become the awareness behind them. And the reason that I asked her to say that again is because this is really the essence and the key to this lesson this morning, the power of thought. Not your thought, but the thought that comes out of the mind of God. The thought that comes from our unlimited capacity to be intelligent, to have intelligence. When we have the divine intelligence, we are always being guided. I have told so many of you before, every day I say I ask for and I receive divine guidance. I do that each and every day because I know that I am being guided in all areas of my life. And so this mind of ours, this creative intelligence is twofold. Part of it is thoughts and beliefs, and the other part of it is influence. And the part of it that is influence is what goes on with the media day after day after day. And sometimes I work on not listening, but I have to be understanding today that we are a part of the divine mind, the one mind of God, and we are co-creators. So we want to be influenced by the divine as well. We want to be influenced by the power of thought. And if we think about the symbol for Easter, I was brought up as a Christian, so I think of the symbol for Christianity. For Christ, he said, "I have come that ye may have life and have it more abundantly." And when you have life more abundantly, it is because of your thinking. It is because of your actions and your thinking and what you are aligned with. Being aligned with this power and presence for good is always co-creating for you the greater gift. The greater allowance. You are allowing yourself, giving yourself permission to have more, to be more, and to do more. So thought has power when we recognize it as the limitless power that is within us. And when we take that power and create with it, and create from it, and create out of it, you see? So this is really where we are today with the power of thought. Your thinking is very important, how you think and how other people influence you. How many people here realize that we are all under the influence of something or someone? Yes, that's 100%. We are really a combination. You know, Dr. Grayson used to call it the race consciousness. It's not really about the race, it's about the human race, not what race you belong to, but the human race. We all belong to the human race. So we have this thing called race consciousness. And today I want to speak to you about rebirth. And rebirth is really having a new consciousness of something, creating a new idea for yourself. I spoke about this last week when I was on Long Island. And I did a wonderful workshop, and it was really amazing. There were 35 or 40 people there, and it was really a blessing. I met so many people that were becoming prayer chaplains, which is really such a beautiful thing to see people who are going to be working out of the One Spirit Academy, and they're going to be praying for people and helping them. And I was teaching them our form of prayer, our method of prayer. They do it a little differently. But a method of prayer comes out of your thought. It comes out of your belief system, you see? What you believe about yourself and about other people. So when you have the right thinking, the thinking comes from God, from the Spirit. So what is the first thing that you need to do in order to think differently, in order to think from this power, from this presence that is within you? You must align yourself with it. Chiropractors align the spinal column. We need to align ourselves. We need to become more aligned with this power and presence for good on a daily basis. Practitioners, prayer people do this all of the time, you see. I've had several phone calls this week, as I always do, from people requesting prayer. And I call it sometimes the high watch. I know Reverend Michael Beckwith says that as well. He always teaches to take the high watch for someone. And what does that mean? I'll tell you what it means for me. And you know, you can get your own definition of it at some time or some point. But holding the high watch to me means that no matter what someone is telling you about a particular condition, you are seeing it differently. You are seeing it with new eyes. I'm reading a wonderful book by Dr. Larry Dossey. How many people have ever heard of him? The very famous surgeon who really talks about the power of prayer in medicine. He was a friend of Dr. Grayson's, and he said that Dr. Grayson was the most authentic healer that he had ever met. And I thought that was such a blessing for a medical doctor to say something like that. But in this book called Healing Words, he says one day medicine will have people in the operating room doing prayer work for the people that are being operated on. And that may seem like a novel idea today. However, through the power of thought, thought expands our consciousness and creates change for us. So what I talked about last week was another idea that I brought to you in the beginning of January, and I've said it many times. You have an idea about something, and maybe that idea isn't working for you. Maybe it's stress. Maybe you expect stress every day in your life. It's become sort of like a norm now, right? All of us have that in our lives. How do we release it, neutralize it, and dissolve it? In consciousness, through our thinking, by aligning with this power and presence, by getting calm within ourselves, and by knowing that there is a power for good that operates for us and through us all of the time. That is the power of our thought. And our thought can bring us all kinds of new conditions, you see. The power of your thought, when you are aligned with this power and this presence for good in the universe, you are blessing yourself. You are allowing yourself through your thinking to become renewed. That is what spring is about. Spring is really the idea of spiritual renewal. How do you renew yourself? You renew yourself by going to the Spirit within you, by aligning with this power and presence for good, by recognizing it. That is our first step in treatment. That is a part of our rebirth. It means to get a new idea about something. If you work with the same idea, it's the definition of insanity. It's thinking that by doing the same thing over and over again, you will get a new result. Einstein spoke about that. He said, you cannot solve a problem with the same mind that created it. In other words, you have to get a new idea for yourself about what it is that you would like to create in your life. And if you already have a very wonderful, fulfilling life, that's great. That's really wonderful. Good for you. If you are inspired and empowered, then you go and help other people to do the same. There is a wonderful philosophy in this teaching. But the thing that we have that makes us a little bit different from other New Thought centers is our form of prayer, our methodology. When I was teaching this form of prayer last week at the workshop, There were people there that were saying, well, we say it this way. But I must tell you something. It doesn't matter the words that you're saying, the method. What matters is your relationship to the spirit within you. How you are aligned with this divine intelligence and this power for good. And then how you will co-create with it to help other people. You see, we are all helpers, I believe, in this world. We are helping ourselves and we are helping other people through the power of our thought. And our thought becomes spiritualized. It begins to change. The person that thinks from spirit is different from the person that thinks from the human mind. And it's not about duality. There is only one mind and one principle. One creative intelligence called God, the Spirit. Call it what you will. It is always there for us, always operating through us. And Dr. Grayson used to say, it doesn't matter whether you believe in it or not, it's still there. It's still there. It's always there. It's always working through us, regenerating, revivifying our complete experience of awareness. And when we regenerate, the same way that the body is regenerating all of the time, if we want to reach higher, then our thinking needs to become spiritualized. It needs to become more creative and more intelligent. Does everyone see that? Yes. So there is an intelligence in the universe that works through us, for us, and as us. And as we recognize it, it begins to create. We begin to think in a new way. And there was something here that empowered thinking. So there's limited thinking and empowered thinking. And what is the difference? This is the key to the lesson today. So limited thinking says, I cannot do this, I cannot get better, I will not, I cannot, all of the things that people give us, right? Have you ever been given a gift of you can't do that, it's not possible? So I'm not alone, we've all had those gifts. Some of you maybe did not, you were fortunate. But I've had a few of those in my life. You won't be able to do that. Are you out of your mind? You'll never be able to do that. Yes, I will. Yes, I can. You see, that is really when you become empowered in your thinking, you do not rely upon outer circumstances or outer events. You rely upon the spirit and you trust that spirit that is within you. And what other people think of you, as Terry Cole Whitaker says, is really none of your business. None of my business either. And when you get to that point, it's very freeing. There's a freedom in that, you see? Because while you love people, Wayne Dyer always used to say, I free myself from the good opinion of other people. You see how he phrased that? That was very clever. Because what he's saying is, I free myself from the good opinion. He's already assuming that everyone has a good opinion about him. He can just let that one go, you see? So as we let go of certain things, then we are able to move forward in consciousness. We have this freedom and ease which evolves through us when we align with this power. Empowered thinking really means that you are coming from spirit, that you are allowing the spirit to unfold through you. That you are saying, yes, I can, and yes, I will. So remember when I told you, you write down the old idea and then you cover it up? I talked about that last week. How many people in here have actually done that? Okay. Some of you. So the rest of you, and some of you have not been here before, but I always tell the story. I used to sit in Dr. Grayson's class for 5-10 years and listen to what he said, but I never did anything with it. How many people? No, you don't have to tell me. What happens is you recognize something and then you begin to make a change. If there's something that you would like to do, let's say you're going on a wonderful trip and you want it to be fabulous. The first thing that you do is do your spiritual work, your spiritual mind treatment, your prayer. You pray for whatever it is that is happening in the near future. And the more that you begin to pray for things, the more that things begin to evolve and the more empowered you become as a thinker. Your thinking is empowered by the spirit and the creative intelligence within you. You can use prayer work for anything. It doesn't have to be for a natural disaster. It can be for going and getting a haircut, if you need one. It can be for doing whatever it is you're doing. The point is that when you are praying, you are expanding your consciousness. whether you're helping other people or helping yourself. The power of prayer, the power of your thought, when it is empowered, is very different from the limiting thought. Dr. Grayson used to call it the race mind group think. And they're using that terminology now, by the way. They use group think a lot. I hear that a lot. Group think means whatever someone says, you jump on the bandwagon and you're a big part of it. As for me, no thank you, you see. Because some of these things that I look at on television, and I don't mean to, but to me they become like cartoons sometimes. Because I can't deal with some of this stuff. I don't know about you, but spiritualized thinking says you must say yes to the goodness of life. When you get involved with all of this stuff politically, it takes you away from who you are. And who you are is so much more than that. You are, each and every one of us, have a spirituality within us that blesses, uplifts, and inspires us. And when we create from it, there is nothing that we cannot do. There is no one that we cannot be. I love that idea. So in the beginning of the new year, I wrote an old idea and then I wrote a new idea. And now I'm working from that new idea. But I'm taking action on it. I'm not just doing nothing about it. When we pray for people, we also pray for ourselves. When we send out good to other people, that good comes back to us multiplied. The same thing happens with negativity. So in order to have a spiritual rebirth or a renaissance, if you will, you need to get new ideas and begin to work with them. This is springtime, the idea of renewal, re-energizing, blessing ourselves, blessing other people. This is an idea whose time has come. This is an idea that can bless us. So if you think about what you are doing with a limited idea, think about what your limited idea may be. Do you have any idea at all about some form of limitation in your life? And if you do, begin to change it by going to Spirit and asking Spirit to bless, uplift, and inspire you. Asking Spirit to recognize that you are one with it. And from this knowingness, you are co-creating your good. From this knowingness, in these centers around the country, we do not tell you that you need to suffer. That's an old-time idea. That's an idea that we need to release, neutralize, dissolve, and let go of. Raymond Charles Barker talked about that all of the time. When the race mind groupthink begins to let go of the need to suffer, you see, that was given to us. That was passed along. Some people look a little shocked in here. What? We don't need to suffer? Oh my goodness. We need to let go of that as an idea. It's not necessary. Yes, things happen to us physically. Yes, we may need attention in different areas of our lives. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is that when you start to let go of the idea that if you suffer, you're going to be better off. You see? You're not. We all know that already. That's just a normal kind of human thing. We want to always feel good and to be happy. How many people in here like being happy? Oh, I'm happy now. Everybody raised their hand. That's a good thing. I was getting a little concerned. We really do. So if you want to be happy, then what can you do to make yourself happier? Think better thoughts. One of the things that I said last week was, it's really, really wonderful. This thing called thinking does not cost anything. So you can't fight about it. He can think better thoughts than I can because he has more money. No, that's not true. You see what I'm saying to you? Each and every one of you. You can get a new thought and a new idea about yourself regardless. It doesn't matter. What matters is what you think. What matters is what you do. It's not only the thinking that makes it so, it's also the doing. They used to say treat, which is our form of prayer, and move your feet. You see? So it's not only the prayer, it's the action that you are taking. So if you have an idea that you'd like to change, if you sit around wanting to change it for 20 years, guess what? That's where you are. You're in wanting to change it. And it's 20 years later. And you're in wanting to change it. And it's 25 years later. You get where I'm going with this. So if you want to change, then you must go home and do something differently. Make that change. Begin to create joy in your life. I love the word joy. Become more joyous. Become more at peace within yourself. You know, when Michel Pascal comes here, he has this laughter, and he laughs and he makes that, but he's so peaceful. He can go anywhere in the world and be at peace because he's meditating and meditating all of the time. He invited me to go to Kathmandu. Nice place. I don't know anything about it. And he said to me, "You'll be in a cave for a couple of weeks." And I said, with all due respect, Michelle, I just don't think I'm going to be able to be in a cave for a couple of weeks. It's just not me. I couldn't do it. But I would love to hear about it. I would really like to hear what happened in the experience, but it's just not me. But for some people, I'm sure it's fascinating to have 150 monks all together meditating and chanting, and I'm sure that would really create a different vibe. I'm sure when I came back, I don't know, you know? I don't know. I have no idea. But I just know that he'll have a wonderful time and he'll let us all know about it. And I'm not going. And I did tell him that, yes. But it was very gracious of him to extend that offer. It really was. But the reason I'm saying this is because I don't think we need to go to a cave sometimes. We can go to our own homes. We can go within. We can listen to some nice, quiet music. We can be blessed in our consciousness. We can uplift ourselves because we have this tool called prayer, and our method is called spiritual mind treatment, you see? And with that operation, I remember years ago at Lincoln Center, when Dr. Grayson spoke there, every week they would say, "My mind is a center of divine operation." Let's say that together. My mind is a center of divine operation. Think about that. Think about those words and what they mean. They're very meaningful. Your mind and my mind, one mind, and it's a center of divine operation. In other words, it operates upon our consciousness as we recognize it through the law of reciprocity. As we recognize it, it recognizes us. And it begins to work for us and through us. And we know that Spirit can only do for us what it can do through us. So we have to be willing to go out and do the work in the world. We have to be willing to put legs on our treatment, to demonstrate. In other words, if you have some kind of a health challenge, I'm just using this as an example, there are people who have a health challenge and they're feeding it. Have you ever known people like that? They feed it over and over. They keep telling you about all the problems they're having and the pills they have to take. And you know what? That's okay. However, if they could get a new idea about themselves, and if they could begin to see that their bodies are temples made in the image and likeness of the Spirit within them, whole, perfect, and complete, Reverend Michael Beckwith teaches this all the time, that the light of Spirit indwells them, and that every muscle, tissue, organ, and activity of the physical body is aligned with this power. And this power is flowing through them. And this is for each and every one of you, to know something about yourself, to know that with God all things are possible, and to let go of that old idea which says, and if you need to go to a doctor, please go to the doctor. Follow their advice. However, you may want to change some of your own opinions about a health condition. You may want to let go of some of those ideas because then you're helping yourself and you're helping your doctor because you are working with a new idea, which is a new thought, which ultimately brings you a new consciousness. You see? That's where we live. I used to think we lived out there in the world. I used to think my address was where I live, but that's not where I live. We are like the American Express card. You know, don't leave home without it. We never leave home without ourselves. And people say to me sometimes, well, I'm going to move and have a whole new life. That's great, that's wonderful, but guess what? You take yourself with you wherever you go. Yes. So in other words, if you don't make some changes within yourself and you go somewhere else and you expect a whole new experience, it doesn't work that way. It's when we let go when we are willing to release and forgive and let go. I love what Reverend Michael says about letting go. He says the true spiritual person is the one who is letting go, who is releasing and letting go, willing to forgive. We're studying that and talking about that in the class that I'm teaching. That's not one of my favorite subjects, I'll be honest with you. I have to work on it just like everybody else. It's not easy. But when we do it, we feel better. You see, we are releasing and letting go of something. And when we do that, we get a new thought about something. You see? There was a young lady at the center last week. I don't mention names or anything, but she was a very interesting person. And she was saying how she didn't feel that she deserved to be loved. She was like in her late 20s, very attractive, lovely, lovely girl, lovely woman. And, you know, I talked to her a little bit, and she began to cry at this workshop. There was a lot of healing in this workshop. It was really wonderful. It was a blessing for all of us, including me. And one of the things that I discovered is that she needed to learn how to forgive who? Herself. Herself. So that's what we also need to work on. Sometimes we make mistakes, we do things, but when we forgive ourselves, we also free ourselves up. And what I'm learning about her is that she is out in the world doing wonderful work. That's the power of redemption, you see? And judgment, that's another thing. When we judge other people, we have to work on letting that go as well, because that binds us. That keeps us in the judgment, and our minds are always judging. I mean, we have that kind of a mind. Somebody walks in and, right? Yes? Yeah, of course. So we're works in progress. Oh no, I never do that. I'm not a person that judges. Only other people do that. That's not true. We all do it. We all do it. And it's okay. Just accept it. Gentle acceptance and gentle correction. That's also what I teach. Be gentle with yourself. Correct yourself. Nobody's perfect. Some people didn't get that message. I got it a long time ago. We are in progress, not perfection. We are perfect in God's eyes. But we are always working with the ideas, always working with the thoughts, the blessings. We are uplifted and inspired by the power within us. There is that power within us that creates through us and for us all of the time. And as Barbara said in that beautiful treatment, we have greater health. We have greater wealth. We have creativity and self-expression. And we have more loving, harmonious relationships. You see? I have learned a thing or two about relationships in my life. And I have learned there are people in my family that I have to forgive them and I have to look at them in a different way. Because if I keep pounding the same drum about them, I will keep getting the same result. So I have to be willing, you see? Willing to let go. Willing to see them differently. Or, as I said to someone this week, willing to wish a person peace. Someone called me on the phone and they said to me, I have to forgive this person and I can't. So I said, well, that's a dilemma right there. Because you have to do something, but you can't do it. I said, how about this as an idea? How about just wishing the person peace? You see, I've been doing that with a person in my family for quite a while, and it does make a shift. It changes. It may not change them, but it changes you inside. When you wish peace for someone, that's all you're doing. Like I said before, it's not expensive to wish peace for someone. You know, it doesn't cost a fortune, but it costs you a fortune when you don't do it. See? So if you can just, maybe you can't forgive someone, maybe you're holding on to it for dear life, but if you can wish them peace, you see? In the services many years ago, I remember they would say, peace be with you. And then what did they say? And also with you. So peace be with all of you. But remember, if there's someone that you thought of during this service this morning, send them peace. Just send them peace. I can honestly tell you that will work wonders. I've been doing it for over a year with someone, and it hasn't shifted the relationship that much, but it shifted me. It shifted me to the point where this person used to come in front of me and I would get very upset. I would get the angst and all that kind of stuff. And once I started to release that and wish peace for that person, things changed. That person hasn't changed. I've changed. That person does not have the effect upon me anymore. Peace be with you. Peace be still and know that I am the Spirit within you. Those are powerful words. Someone shared with us a couple of weeks ago that whenever he gets upset, he says, there is one life. That life is whole, that life is perfect, that life is God, and that life is my life now. Those are the first two steps in our form of prayer. The first step is recognizing God as your source, knowing that God is the divine one within you. The second step is unifying with that consciousness, that power for good, saying yes to it, knowing that it is there for you. The third step is declaring you're good. And the fourth step is releasing, neutralizing, and dissolving the outer effects. In other words, the things you're holding on to about yourself, the negation, the resistance or rejection. And then thanksgiving and release, releasing your prayer into the law of mind or the principle where it is free to do its work, and it does. So all of you know about spiritual mind treatment, or most of you do. But it's a brilliant method for each and every one of us. And I am so grateful to Ernest Holmes and to Dr. Grayson and to all the teachers that have come before us, because they are someone once said, the giant upon whose shoulders we all stand. And that is so true. You see, we all stand upon the shoulders of the people who have helped us and blessed us and uplifted and inspired us. And when we have gratitude, that shifts our thinking as well. So I am going to leave you with this message this morning. I would like each and every one of you to go home today and get a new idea about something. And to write down the old idea, cover it up, get the new idea. And I know I've told you this before, but I really want you to do it. So next time when you're here, everyone will raise their hand. Everyone will have done it. Because it's giving you a whole new way to think. A whole new way to be in the world, to be with yourself and other people. And remember the message of peace. At this time of year, peace. Thinking about wishing other people peace. Maybe you can't forgive someone, but you can certainly wish for them peace. Because what I remember from my own experience is that this person that I have a conflict with does not have peace. Because this person is always challenging. You ever meet people like that? I know I'm probably challenging to some people too. But you know what? I wish her peace. I wish this person a lot of peace. And I really think that that's an idea to take with you. Because peace will bless someone. It will uplift them and inspire them, and it will shift your consciousness. It will give you a new way to think. A new thought, a new tool will emerge within you. A new way of being. That is really what the message is about today. It is about thinking and being influenced by the Spirit within you. So the new idea, you are aligned with the power of Spirit, and Spirit is blessing, uplifting, and inspiring you. And I would like to wish all of you, however you celebrate this season, a wonderful, happy holiday. I would also like to know for each and every one of you that you are being blessed throughout this holiday, uplifted and inspired, and as you move out in a new direction in life, that all things will work together for your good. That is really what I am wishing for each and every one of you. So I am going to do a spiritual mind treatment for each and every one of us, for blessings, upliftment, and inspiration. So let's close our eyes, take a deep breath in, and let's know this truth together. So just let it all out. Inhale and just relax and let it out. And let's know this truth together, that there is a power that is creative, that it comes through the mind of each and every person in this room, that each person in this room is an individualized expression of the Spirit of life. And that Spirit of life, that co-creator, that divine intelligence, operates upon the conscious mind of each and every one in this room. Not only uplifting and blessing, but inspiring each one to move out into life in a new direction, with new thinking about themselves and new thinking about others. And as a result of this new thought, all things good are added to each one's experience. Each one is blessed by the lesson this morning, by the prayer, by the reading and the music. Each one is blessed within their hearts, within their minds, and within their bodies. renewed, uplifted, and inspired, moving out into a new direction and claiming for himself or herself greater health, wealth, creative self-expression, and harmonious relationships. Any thought patterns that would say no to this, any inner negation, any blockages are completely released, neutralized, and dissolved into the nothingness from whence they came. Each person celebrates life in a new, more glorious way than ever before. This is a celebration of the spirit within, and with love and gratitude for the wonderful way that Spirit is at work in our lives, not only today, but always, I simply say, thank you, Spirit, releasing the word, knowing it is done, so be it, and together we say, and so it is. And that is the way it is. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, and now we're going from Yoichi.
All right. Are we ready? Okay, the next piece I'm gonna play is, well, I played this before probably, but it's hard to play something new all the time, so please bear with me. The next section will be, yeah, I'm gonna play something called God Bless the Child. Hope you enjoy.
Yoichi is really, I'll tell you, amazing, Yoichi. Very amazing. Yeah, thank you. So at this time, we have our sharing, if anyone wants.